All right, so this is a different kind of video than what we've typically done here on Tolman Travels, but I wanted to show you our project that we're currently working on. So we just moved into a new house here in Virginia, and we're working on the patio. So I'm gonna flip this around and kind of show you what's going on, and then kind of keep you guys filled in throughout the project, let you know kind of things that we learned, how the project went, maybe some tips and tricks if you're thinking about building a paver patio like this. So here's the backyard, and obviously we've already started, and I kind of had the idea I should put this into a video once I got this far into the project. So I'll kind of walk you through what we've done so far. So this is the back of the house, obviously, and when we moved in, basically we have this cement pad which is barely big enough for our backyard garden furniture, and it goes right into the back door. And what they had here, so this whole dirt area, they had kind of built as a flower bed, and they had it covered in bark, and then we had all these bushes that we just pulled out over here that were in it. The problem is that all of the bark in the flower bed, you know, when the kids came out, the dog came out, they would walk right through it, and then they would track bark everywhere, through the yard, through the house, everything. And we're like, we just need a bigger patio. So our first step was we removed all the bark. We put it in these trash bags here, which we'll probably just put out with, once every 2 weeks they pick up yard scrap and stuff. We're just gonna put that out with that. And we pulled out those bushes, which we are going to repurpose into some flower beds back here, kind of fill in that area. And now we're digging down. So basically what we want to do is we want to put in a paver patio. That is, Hiram's singing. What are you singing, dude? We want to put in a paver patio that is basically flush with this cement pad. So we're digging down about 6 inches total, all the way around. And what we're finding really quick, we went to Home Depot and we bought a 8x10 tarp, which is already filling up very quickly. So Allison's actually out right now. She's gonna buy a few raised garden beds that we're gonna place along this fence line here. So we're gonna repurpose as much of this dirt as we can to avoid having to haul out and get rid of dirt. And then, yeah. And then we're gonna go from there, proceed with doing a paver patio as far as getting some, start with some base. We've kind of been looking around at the best base to put in. There's a lot of folks here in Virginia Beach that are selling like asphalt millings. So I'm considering doing that for the base. If any of you have any knowledge as to whether or not that's a good idea, I would love to hear it in the comments. But I think that's what we're gonna do as the base, and then obviously just some paver sand, and then put the pavers on. We're gonna extend this, so we're actually gonna kind of cut diagonally from this corner and connect over to the gate here and fill that whole area with patio underneath the AC unit, and then around with this dirt area here. So have a nice big patio and kind of go from there. So we'll keep you guys posted with the process of the video. I'm gonna keep filming stuff as things come along and let you know how this goes, and hopefully we have a nice little video by the end, kind of outlining this project and, like I said, things that we learned along the way. All right, so I've been digging all morning. Here's my progress. I've come all the way up, working my way around. It's slow going with the shovels, but trying to get a nice 6-inch down, level, well, slightly sloped outward to keep water running away from the house. Slope. We got these vinyl raised gardens. That's where all of our dirt's gonna go. That middle one's gonna be twice as tall. Allison's working on leveling them, which is turning out to be a special process in and of itself. Aaron's over here working in the bucket. He's making soup.
Hi, baby.
You having fun?
Did you taste your soup? I see it on your face, yeah.
Boys are over here doing Legos on the table. It's a whole family event. All right, so it's been a couple weeks since I've given an update on our patio project, and I thought I would just fill you in on what all is going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip the screen around here and show you what we've been doing. So when we first started the project, we kind of talked about how we were digging everything out, getting it ready, and basically, you know, we were all gung-ho for the first week or so that we were working on it, and or I guess the first like weekend, and then we realized that we needed to slow down anyway because we weren't going to be able to get supplies in fast enough to finish the project. So the last couple weeks we've just been slowly working this out and getting it ready. So here is our old patio, and it's pretty much all dug out. So you can see here we have it kind of strung off. That's how far the actual patio is going to come. And then we've got about 6 to 8 inches of extra cut out past that, just to give us a little bit of wiggle room when we're getting everything finished up on the edges. So that's all the case. We've got it all angled off over here and coming over. We've been kind of picking our brains about what to do with this AC unit, because the patio is going to go all the way up to that gate. Initially our plan was just to patio around this existing pad where the AC unit is, and then I was like, well, it'd be better if we moved the AC unit, put in the patio, and then put the AC unit back on. But we just got a quote from HVAC company to come do that. They wanted to charge us $1,200 to unhook it and then hook it back up when we're done. So we're like, that's not gonna happen. So we're gonna patio around the existing pad there, and that'll be fine. And today we got all of our supplies delivered. Holy cow. All right, so this patio area that we're putting in is about it's right in between 300 and 300 and it's about 340 square feet is what I measured. We're maybe going a titch smaller than what I actually measured, so it might be a little less. But here's what we have. We've got 3.5 cubic meters of crush and run, and that's what's going to be the base. And each of these bags is a cubic meter. So this local landscaping supply store was able to bag those up into these giant bags of crush and run. And then we have one of them, let's see, this is crush and run. One of these bags is sand. So we have 3.5, that little half guy, cubic meters of crush and run that we will pack down. We're gonna rent a compactor from Home Depot to do that. And then one of these is sand to go on top to be our sand layer. And then we've got 3 pallets of pavers. This is a 3-piece paver, so there's 3 different sizes of pavers to create the pattern that we'll go for. And then here on these black things on top are the edge pieces, so those help keep the edges of the patio in nice and strong, and they go right up against the edge pieces of the patio, and then you nail them in and then fill in the dirt to come right up, you know, end up seeing that. And then on top here we have 3 bags of what's called, it's like joint sand, or what is it called? It's called jointing sand. And that's the sand that's going to go on top of the pavers when it's all done to kind of fill down into the cracks, and then you get it lightly wet and it kind of turns into a joint. Not quite a mortar, but that's kind of the idea. So here's our project for right now. Our backyard is definitely a construction zone. We had to take out our side fence over here to be able to get the forklift back here to be able to get everything. So it's been quite the project, but it's coming along. Hopefully we will have it finished here very soon. So there you go. All right, so I thought I'd give you guys an update on our patio project. It's been a few weeks actually since I've checked in, but thought I'd give you an update on the project. So we got everything. I'm gonna flip my camera around, show you what we got going on here. All right, so we got everything dug out. We've been working on that for several weeks, and I've really just been waiting for a weekend where we had an entire day to lay the patio, because we're gonna rent a compactor, but we only wanna rent it for one day. We don't wanna have to rent it for more. So right now we're laying our initial layer of crush and run, and that's this kind of half gravelly, half concrete dust material. And tomorrow morning, first thing, we'll go rent the compactor. So our goal tonight is to get the initial layer laid down so it's ready to compact first thing in the morning. We'll compact it, and then we will do another layer of crush and run, compact that, a real small layer of sand, and we'll compact that, and then we'll lay the bricks. So that's where we're at right now. We had a half a bag of crush and run right here that we laid all over here, and this is a full bag, and I'm almost through that as far laying it for this larger section on the side. Anyways, it's coming along slowly but surely. Hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, we will have a almost finished patio. So we'll keep you updated. All right, so I'm gonna give you another update on our patio. Let me flip the camera around and show you what's going on here. So yesterday I showed you we had dug everything out. We had started to lay our first layer of crush and run. So over here is all the first layer that we ran. Rented a plate compactor. That's what this is, from Home Depot. It cost me about $86 to rent it for 24 hours. So brought it first thing this morning. I did compacted the entire area. Now we're laying our second level of, our second layer of crush and run. I've laid it all the way around here, and we're being even more careful on this one to make sure that things are level and flowing in the direction that we want. So basically we want everything to be ever so slightly sloping away from the house and also this way. So any water or rain that happens on the patio, the water will flow out and not get trapped on the patio. So basically I'll show you what we did here. The thing about our patio is that we're trying to match the level of it to this existing concrete patio. If that wasn't there, this whole process would be a lot easier, because it wouldn't really matter how high or low the patio was. But we're having to be extra careful to make sure that we lay the right amount of crush and run and sand and everything else, so that when we lay the pavers, that they line up with the patio. So I'll show you what we've done. We've gone around and made some marks with a Sharpie, very rough marks, but that's okay, showing essentially where our crush and run level needs to be after we compact. So as we fill in here, you'll notice I'm trying to fill it in to basically where we just cover those lines up, because when we compact, it's going to come down a little bit. Our pavers are 2 1/4 inch, and then we're shooting for somewhere between a 1/2 inch and 1 inch of sand when we do that final level. So we've measured down 2 3/4 of an inch from the top of the concrete, and that's what these marks are. So even if our crush and run compacts a little bit, we're still are kind of in that realm where we're putting about 1 inch of sand in our area. So that's where we're at. We're also having to be a little bit careful because this is our last bag of crush and run. So we're hoping that we're not too short on that. Our layer is a little bit thicker around the concrete, and as we move this direction, the whole patio is going to slope a little bit more, so we may not need as much crush and run, but we'll see. We're hoping that we have enough to get this job done. We might be a little short, but if we are, we'll get some more and carry on. All right, so in the final stages. We got our initial base all laid and compacted. We were a little bit short on crush and run, but only for this last little bit. So we actually ended up just putting some dirt back in and compacted it as well as we could. Yeah, so there was one layer of crush and run, then we did a little bit of dirt on top to just kind of top it off. But now we're laying the sand, and then we'll get that leveled out, and hopefully we'll start laying some pavers here shortly. All right, so here's an update after our second day of laying pavers. You can see we're making some pretty good progress here. And when I say day, we had a couple hours of laying pavers the first day after we had finished all the compacting and laying the base. And then today we've been at it for about an hour and a half since I've been home from work. So we've kind of just been laying them in small little spurts. But as you can see, we're doing kind of a random pattern. And so I think the thing that is most time consuming with it is deciding what's going to go where. We kind of started thinking we would follow an exact pattern, but we realized very quickly that it wasn't really going to work for our space. If you follow an easier pattern that's a very consistent looking pattern, it would obviously go a lot quicker because you just know which ones to grab and where to go. We wanted a more inconspicuous pattern, and so far I'm liking how it's looking. And yeah, so it's coming along, and we'll keep you posted. I'm thinking that one more good solid day of laying the pavers, we'll have the initial ones laid, and then we'll have to just do a little bit of cutting around some of the edges to try to clean things up and get it all smooth and nice. So yeah. All right, so time to show you guys the finished product. So we've actually been enjoying this patio for a couple months now, and I realized today as I sat down to edit the video that I had never given you a finished product view. So I'll go ahead and show you and just give you a few notes of the project. So here we go, let me flip this around. All right, so here is the finished patio, and we're well into fall now, kind of turning into winter here in Virginia. And that's the patio. As you can see, I think it turned out pretty good. You know, I would say that the biggest thing for us, as I kind of already mentioned, was just like getting the patio to match that level of the existing concrete pad and keep the flow correct. And mostly it's pretty good. There's one little spot right here that dips just a little bit and does collect a little bit of water, but everything is flowing away from the house, which is good. And yeah, it's been great for us. You can see over here that we ended up just going around the AC unit like we had kind of talked about. I actually rented a concrete saw and cut this section out, because you'll notice in the earlier videos that this little slab used to come out to like right here. So I cut that back as far as I could with a concrete saw, and that helps visually make the patio just a little tighter around that. And then the last thing that I'll mention here is just this angled edge. And we debated about a couple different ways of doing that, but basically all we did is this, you saw when I cut everything out, I cut out an additional distance, and on this edge even further. So we cut out about an extra foot from the patio than what we needed. But we did that so that we could maintain the pattern, the tile pattern all the way up as far as we could. And then all we did is we just used a chalk line, and we took it from the corner there of the gate to this corner where we wanted it. Oh, our little guy found the pickaxe. He's wanting to help. And we just chalk lined it, and that made it super easy because we could just pull each one off, and we just had to cut right on the chalk line. So we rented a paver saw from Home Depot, and that was super helpful. So yeah, there you go. That is finished product. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you got a few tips and tricks that'll help you while you're working on your patio project, and give you some ideas of what to do, maybe what not to do. And we'll catch you next time.